Anxiety is a very common phenomenon in the world. It can vary from restlessness in the background, and it can move all the way to a violent anxiety attack, like the ones I used to have when I was in my early 20s. What causes anxiety attacks? The psyche is a mysterious, bottomless pit. A certain knot is being created in our psyche as a response to event or situation which we could not handle. It could be in our childhood, it could be in our adulthood. The most important question is to ask, can it be overcome at all? My personal story says it can. How can it be overcome? The final way to transcend anxieties is to discover a part of you which is deeper and untouched by them. I'll explain it in depth. But first, let's talk about how to deal with anxiety before we talk about how to overcome them. There are 3 levels of dealing with anxieties. The first level is about the symptoms, soothing them as they arise, as an anxiety comes. There's many ways. I think the best, perhaps, is deep breathing to the belly, which has quite a magical effect in rounding up sharp edges of anxiety, or any emotion for that matter. The second level is about healing and cleansing our psyche, our database. It's as if there is a virus there, so to speak, which gives rise to that emotion. By attending to that psyche, we might be able to either soothe it to a large point and hopefully to get rid of it in some cases. However, in my own experience, freedom came only through that third level. And that third level is discovering our deeper essence, our deeper identity, that part of us which is entirely untouched, untainted, unaffected by anything that happens inside the personality, be it the worst things or the best, anxieties, whatever other emotions, anger, jealousy, you name it. When you discover yourself as the one who is untouched by it, then you have a position of freedom from it. I'll explain my personal story to give the context. In my late teens, I started developing very strong anxiety attacks. In the age of 20, so I went to India for the first time. Prior to that, I was recommended by a psychiatrist to start taking medications. I refused. I was in a painful condition. And in that mess, I went to India for the first time, hoping to find a solution, not only to my anxieties, but also to that sense that there is so much more to life than what I knew until that point. I joined a Vipassana retreat, signed up in Dharamsala in the north of India, a 10-day silence retreat. And before joining it, I was in absolute dread of it. I was actually quite sure I'm going to lose my mind in the retreat. The night before, I was crying all night. I was really, really afraid. The theme of my anxieties was the fear of losing my mind. Nevertheless, I had no choice but to join the retreat because I felt I just had to find the solution to anxieties and to that sense of lack I had in life in general. The retreat, I didn't lose my mind. I wasn't having a great time either. But I did see that on one hand, how powerless I was against the mind, but I also had a clear conviction that the solution to my life would be found internally, not anywhere else. Soon after, I joined a more profound and systematic meditation system, which I followed for many years. 2 years into that learning, I was very dedicated in my meditation and doing a lot of silent retreats throughout the year. And I was in Goa at this time. I was already quite more deep inside, knowing myself beyond the mind, but still I had no solution to anxiety attacks when they came. And generally I was still living through the mind, not knowing that this is what my condition was. between two retreats, a friend of mine came to my room in Goa, and she was like beaming, and she was saying, "Beloved, all is well." And I said, "Yeah, I know all is well." And she said, "No, you don't. All is well." And I did get it. I got it so much. The coin dropped and shattered my life as I knew it until this moment. A veil was lifted in front of from my eyes. A veil I didn't know that was there. What happened in that moment, which I didn't know to explain then, was that that contract of believing the mind, which was a permanent member of my defining factor of my life, was gone. It was broken. What I realized in the simplest term was that I live in a silent world. My life, my world, myself was made of silence. Whatever sound that came, meaning whatever sentence, whatever thought, whatever message was spoken to me, which until that moment I took as truth, I no longer took as reality. It was just a sentence being spoken, said in my system. The significance of that event was, I wouldn't even say life-changing. It was like a new life. Next day, in the evening, I went down the beach, went for a walk, and I crossed to a deserted beach, which is a perfect environment for my anxiety attacks to pop up, and indeed they did. And I was thinking that, well, knowing how my relationship thus far was with anxieties, I thought it was all fun and games. I have no chance against it. Usually when it came, I just like hiding, and it was just going over me until it passed, and I went back to life. I thought the same will happen now, but no, it didn't. The same, what sealed my new found life was that sentence that was in the root of the anxiety attack was seen again as just a sentence. It was like, thank you very much. That was the end of years of tormenting anxieties which I had no power against. That was the end of them. And the reason, what happened in that, what allowed that transformation, was that I realized that I am, life, was made of silence. It's a dimension of silence which nothing that happens, circulates, appears on the level of the mind and personality can touch it. It's like two different planes of existence. It's like the sharpest sword in the world cannot cut the air. It needs to hit something. It needs to hit something from its own plane. And even if you have a bucket of neon color or some black color and you throw it on the air, it won't paint the air, it will fall and meet what's on its plane. That's what I realized, that whatever is being spoken in my system cannot touch who I am. It's just impossible once I know myself in a real way. Despite this awakening, which has been the foundation of my life all until today, and it is in this moment, I still went through years of therapy and healing, because even though I know myself to be beyond and untouched by that personality, it's still a valid part of who I am. And actually I wanted to attend to it, which is the second level I spoke about. However, freedom is reached, in my experience, only through that meeting of my true identity, my pure identity. So to conclude, anxieties can be overcome, and it can be done through an insight into our true nature, into becoming that part of us which is untouched, untainted, unrelated to whatever is happening inside our personality, be it whatever emotion or thought that arise. This is wonderfully complemented by a process of healing and therapy, but freedom is attained through that insight. And that insight is without a doubt available to you. It is so because this is who you are. You are not adding something. You are not shedding even anything. All you do is you just come to see things as they are. You meet yourself as who you truly are. And that is, though very ordinary also the entry into a state of unconditional peace and joy. And indeed, it is within your ability to realize.